It's being called the biggest consumer rip-off the country's ever seen. It's gone on for more than a decade unchecked, catching out as many as 1 million Aussies. Some may have no idea they're victims. Others say this car loan scheme ruined their lives.
Most of us remember the day we bought a new car. It's exciting and it's one of the biggest financial decisions we make. But for years, there's been an arrangement quietly ripping drivers off. And lawyers say the banks have blood on their hands.
It was predatory, it was unethical.
That was the biggest mistake of my life, walking into that dealership.
Billy Clark wasn't even planning to buy a car when she drove past this Canberra car yard.
I just got swept away in the moment and then signed these papers, he put it in front of me.
Next minute, she'd bought this Suzuki with a price tag of $25,990.
The hype of having a new car took over until I started making repayments and couldn't afford it.
Billy was 19 and none the wiser she was being ripped off.
Really pushy and really persuasive, and said, I'm not letting you leave this room until you get the best tinted windows.
After slapping on a bunch of fees and different insurances, the total for her 2012 purchase was $37,807.
My interest rate was 15.99% and my payments were $350 a fortnight.
The consumer is paying thousands of dollars extra on their car loan because the dealer is incentivised not to offer you a fair rate, but to offer you the highest rate they possibly can.
Morris Blackburn lawyer Andrew Watson explains how the now illegal flex commissions worked.
So the bank set a base rate, in this example, 7 to 8%. The dealer was entitled to charge whatever they liked on top of that, and the dealer got to keep most of that difference, with the bank getting to keep a small proportion.
So it's a win-win. Bank not only sells their loan, they also get a little cut of the extra interest, and dealer makes a lot more in this extra interest rate.
That's right. 1 in 20 Australians have been the subject of this practice. This is the largest consumer rip-off that Australia's ever seen.
The law firm has launched 3 class actions going after the banks at the helm of this scheme. Of the roughly 1 million customers embroiled in this, 400,000 of them took out loans at the hands of Westpac and its subsidiaries St George Finance and Bank of Melbourne, as did another 400,000 from ANZ through their Asanda car loans. And Macquarie Leasing is allegedly responsible for 200,000 customers' loans. The law firm alleges they preyed on younger, more vulnerable customers, less likely to question exorbitantly high rates. And there's only one loser out of this, isn't there?
Well, the one loser is the consumer, who doesn't know this is going on and doesn't realise they've been charged all that extra.
I probably got only about three repayments in, and then I was just like, okay, this is getting on top of me. This is what I call my desperation letter that I sent to Asanda Finance, part of the ANZ group who financed my car loan.
At the time, Billy was working at a kids' play centre, earning roughly $1,100 a fortnight.
Had to say, I can't pay it, can you try and clear this for me?
So this letter is essentially you begging?
Begging. This is my begging letter. I ended up filing for bankruptcy because I had no choice.
Billy says she endured years of shame and embarrassment before realising she wasn't alone.
That I had to drop out of university just to go back to work to afford the repayments.
James Foster bought this $24,700 Subaru in Queensland back in October 2013. Unlike Billy, he managed to hold on to the car, but only just, paying it off over 7 long years.
The interest rate was 14.97% for a total interest of $15,300. Look, compensation may be nice, but that's not why I'm doing this right now. I want the banks to have accountability.
As for the banks, ANZ says it's defending the allegations. Westpac and St George are also defending the class action proceedings, and Macquarie said given it's going through the court process, it wouldn't be appropriate to comment.
It was an outrageous practice, so bad that in fact in 2018 the Australian Securities and Investment Commission banned the practice.
Flex commissions distort pricing arrangements.
It was uncovered at the Banking, Superannuation and Financial Services Industry Royal Commission in 2018, but the damage had already been done.
Like so many of the things that emerged out of the Financial Services Royal Commission, the banks have said sorry, but they haven't paid compensation. So they're sorry but not sorry. And so our action is an action to recover compensation for people who've been affected by this terrible wrong.
What would you like to type in a letter to the ANZ Bank now?
Just please don't ruin other people's lives like they've ruined mine.
And if you think you've been a victim of this now banned practice, you can register online.